What's wrong? Well, you know what? If they want to take the book and sell it and somebody wants to buy it, I have no objection to that. Maybe that's the only way that person ever gets that book. That person who buys that book for $20 will never get it from me. They'll never hear about me. But I thank God that some through envy, some through strife, some through grief, this message is still being preached. See, they say, well, we want to stop this. Them doing this won't stop this. This will go on. And on and on and on. Brother Branham had a bumper sticker on his Jeep. If you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns. If you copyright, trademark, franchise, cut everybody else off, then only the people who are wanting to do this message harm will continue to do it. I'm going to say this, and I don't want to call any names. But I believe that this is a spirit. It's a spirit that wants to make Brother Branham Jesus Christ. That wants to make him God. That wants to make him infallible. Which Brother Branham denies on all cases. I battle this every time we have a convention. There's a group of people that have tried to make Brother Joseph the prophet. And now they've tried to make him God. And they're very, very popular and well known. And they come around, and every time I see them, I know that they're going to get a hold of new people in the message, or people who've never been exposed to it, and they're going to start trying to tell them stories that was told. There's a couple of stories that's been told. And I've been hearing these for years from different people. But what I've done now is I've gotten a letter from a brother that's been one of the most vocal voices telling these falsehoods that now says that they are false. And he wanted me to know about it. I already knew it. He says, in keeping my word to the Lord Jesus first and then to Brother Joseph Branham, I'm writing to all to make a correction in what I had reported years ago. I sent a letter to Brother Joseph in which I asked if he would please let me know if some of the things I had reported to others were true. Recently I got a letter from Brother Joseph in the mail in which he gave answer to my questions. So I want to make the corrections to all of you. I was in Tucson, Arizona last spring of 2002. And I was sitting with a brother who told me that what I had shared with others was not true. I wonder who that brother was. As this brother had seen Brother Joseph one day and had asked Brother Joseph if it was true, and Brother Joseph had said it was false about several of the things that I had shared. Many years ago, now listen to this, a dear and precious brother who knew and loved Brother Branham and Brother Joseph had shared some of the things with me at his home in Arizona. This brother grew up as a boy around the family of Brother Branham. And when I was in Arizona many years ago, around 1990, another brother had taken me to visit with this brother, and this brother had shared many things he was to have seen and heard over the years with Brother Branham and Brother Joseph. I had shared some of these stories this brother had told us, and it was then, last year, I was told by another brother in Arizona that some of the reports were not true. All of you have heard the report that I shared of how Brother Joseph was to have had a visit from his father, Brother Branham, in their home in person after Brother Branham was gone, when Brother Joseph was to have been about 16 years old. And Brother Joseph was to have taken the arm of the brother reporting the story that Joseph said it was this, as if to mean it was flesh and not spirit. And Brother Branham was to have said to his son, Brother Joseph, everything is going to be all right. Now, I've heard that story for years, and I've always said it didn't happen. And as a result, when I went back to the dedication of the Voice of God building, the man that signed this letter walked right up in my face in the presence of about 50 people and said, well, you still think Brother Joseph and all the supernatural things that happened to him is a reproach to this message? I never made a statement like that. But this was the spirit and attitude of that man. So today, Brother Joseph wrote me and said it was false as to these reports. Then I share this with you, something I had not shared with others, keeping it to myself when I heard it. But when I was in jail for Easter in 2002, some other precious brothers, these are precious brothers, but they're false. How can you use such term? They're not innocent. They are deceived. And they deceive others. And they sow discord among the brethren, and God hates that. And they sow discord among the brethren, and God hates that. Some other precious brothers had told me in Jeffersonville at the hotel that they had heard that when Brother Joseph was to have colored a picture book of an Indian chief, that Brother Joseph was to have written as the young boy, after he heard his daddy had died, he was to have written the words across the coloring book, I will ride this trail again. Brother Joseph also wrote me in his response that this also was false. So if any hear of this report, you know Brother Joseph wrote me and told me it was false on all points that I have just shared again with you. I had shared something not true with others, and I wanted to make it right and report the truth to all of you and confirm that Brother Joseph is the one who told me it was false of what I shared with you. Now that right there shows the spirit. This tape will go out, Sandra. How many think I ought to let it go out? It's going to bring persecution. It's going to bring criticism. It's going to bring hatred. But if I know my heart, what I said is true. I've only tried to be a witness. And I feel that if they have a right to say, we are wrong, then I have a right to say, I don't think so. Now, whenever I have tried to talk to these people, here's the answer and reply. What you say is hearsay. That's not what he said. We see what's calling me a liar. How can you have a conversation with a person when they won't believe what you say? How can you even reason with that? There is no reasoning. I felt terrible about this. And what I say that he said is that the day that that resolution was written out and read out, and Brother Branham signed it, and the deacon signed it, and the pastor signed it, and the trustee signed it, Brother Branham walked in the back room, and I was there with the telephone hook up. He handed it to me and said, Brother Perry, that is not the spirit of my message. And I said, Brother Branham, why did you sign it then? See, I could talk to Brother Branham like that. And he said, I promised Internal Revenue Service I would not dictate to my board. And he said, that's what they wanted, that's what I had to go along with, but that's not the spirit of my message. He said, would you as a friend go and talk to them about this? And I did. And they laughed at me. They said, if Brother Branham wanted to do something, he'd tell us. I said, brother, don't you understand that he made a promise to the tax people that he would not dictate to his board, and he knows you well enough to know that if he just breathed it or suggested or let it be known, you'd want to do it, and I'm here telling you. They said, we want to hear it from him. I said, he told me, and they wouldn't believe me. They don't believe him to this day. So when all this started, somebody wrote and asked them, said this, and they put it out on the internet. Why should we believe what he says? It's hearsay. Well, I felt bad about that. No, you don't like to be talked to like that. But Brother Wheeler and Brother Hickerson called me for breakfast one morning about 5 months ago and wanted to ask me what I thought about this, Here I Stand. And I said to them, I said, brothers, I want to know what you two thought about it. You two signed that resolution. And they said, we signed it because we thought that's what Brother Branham wanted. And I said,